What's up, everybody? Al the Power 78 coming in with the rescue. This guy helps me with, understand stuff and helps me rescue myself from myself. We call him rescue. This guy helps with the bugs, so he fixed me. The bugs are like sicknesses. And this is a styling one, so we're gonna be using her soon. Um, and we always use this guy. He knows. But here we go. We're gonna do the create recipes on our stuff. But first things first, we do not have a logout. And I was looking at that before I started this. I said, yo, you know what? You know what I'm saying? We changed the header posture right here. So now we got to create a logout for it. Let's do something easy. I'm going to put it in the home controller because it's going to be mad simple to log out. So we want the thing. Actually, we want it to be exactly. No, we want this to be log out. That's what we call it. Okay. We'll save that. And let's make this log out. All right. And it has a class, and I don't want the text doc. I want the text to be what we want the text color to be. Let's have the text because you know what, we don't need this Mel's Kitchen. We don't need two home buttons. So and then I like the class to be also instead of nav bar light. I like it to be nav dark. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. And then we want the class in here instead of text doc for all of them. Let's control D that. And let's put secondary. I don't know. That's like a silver one. So before we go into that, let's just look. This is basically going to be, and logout doesn't even have an action yet. So there you go. Logout. Looks like it's gonna have an error. Like where is it at? But this is wrong because it should have been doc and navbar doc, background doc. Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, that sounds right. And let's just see if we could refresh it. Sometimes we can. In the earlier ones we could, but I guess not. And let's just double check that because I don't want to make this mad long. The logout's gonna be mad simple, so we can do that in the home controller. So yeah, that don't look right either. I like the colors and stuff, the background of that. So let's come over here and give them like a warning or something like that. And let's do it again and then press Control D and then type warning. So it won't have to do it like 3 times. So let's do that. That should look good. I'm not even gonna go bother with that. But if you type in logout, see there was nothing there. So let's head to the home controller and let's actually do this very simple logout one. We don't need privacy no more. Let's get that out of there. And we don't mess with that stuff. And we're gonna put public action return result whatever. We're gonna put a logout. And the coolest thing about this is gonna be very easy. So we're gonna return redirect to action. Where is it at? To action. And we're gonna say index because that's what we want. And all we want to do here, I hope this works right. All we want to do here is http context dot session dot clear, and then that's it. And then that should clear it. So if there's anything in this session when we log in, that'll log us out. The reason I did it on that is so it could be very easy to see. We don't have to go back and forth like we do some other ones. So I'm gonna start go in the header and start putting all our stuff on there that we need. We could click on dashboard. We want to go to dashboard after we log in. That's cool, but it's gonna automatically take us there, etc. But what we gotta do now to make our recipes? Now that I yapped for almost 4 whole minutes, we're gonna make a new controller right here. It's gonna be empty again. We're gonna go add. Do you have any partial? Let's see where it comes up with. We don't want it to be partial. We want it to be a full one. What the heck just happened? Okay, MVC controller empty. Let's just add that, and we're gonna call this one recipe. All right, we're gonna call this one a recipe, and not recipe one. So I'll just delete all that. It'll add it for me. Recipe controller. We're gonna add that in there. It's in here. What we gotta do? What's one of the first things we gotta do? We gotta get rid of that. We're gonna open Chef Controller real quick. We're gonna borrow this code. This is probably, I think this is supposed to be like a private read-only one, but for now we leave it like that. And we're actually gonna use that, so we don't have to build our own constructor for it. The only difference is this is gonna be a recipe controller, and this is gonna be added in there like that. I press see added the context stuff, and then that's exactly what we needed to start our stuff. Well, let's create a view. It's gonna be a regular view right here, so it should say index and no partial. Okay, we're gonna do that right now, and that's really just gonna say nothing. Actually, yeah, we can make a view bag for it and then put it on as a comment. So we don't need none of that because this is gonna say H1 tab all our recipes, and then inside here we're gonna have right underneath it, we're gonna have it in the H2 tag, in the A tag, and we're gonna call this add. Oh, that's wrong, we don't need to do that yet. And in between there, we're gonna call it add recipe. And in here, we're not gonna have nothing yet, so we just leave it like that for now. Hopefully that doesn't mess it up. And this is the index one. So in my index one, I'm gonna go back over here and go to Bootstrap tables. That's why I had it out in the first place. Nope, tables right here. And I like the tables Bootstrap, and this is for Bootstrap 4, so that's what it's originally installed inside .NET. Hopefully it updates and everything is 5 once it becomes more awesome. And we're just gonna take the first table. There's 2 tables in there. We're gonna copy this table right here. All right, we're gonna add something else on there too. So you're gonna be like, oh my God, he's a genius. Like, no, I just learned it. So in here, we get rid of these 2 right here. We're gonna get rid of this one right here. Well, you know what? We just get rid of the row scope. And everything inside here, we're gonna get rid of for now. Because this is where our for each loop is gonna go. And instead of pound, let's just move that one to the, you know what? We're gonna call this recipe name. Let's just click on that guy. Why is it doing that? Recipe name, like this is not gonna be an issue. And they're gonna have chef name. Let's put that chef name like that. And then we're gonna have ingredients. And this section is really for. This section is really to see like different people and how they would like remake the exact same recipe you did. Like they could probably copy and paste and say, instead of having sazon, I just use adobo, something like that. And this is directions of how you do it. All right, so here's where the for loop is gonna go. But since we have no recipes in the database, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Remember when I clicked this out originally here, I'll show you what I did. I did that, I'm like, where's my stuff at? I'm like, man, I'm a dummy. This is this. And we just want to pin it back up there. So when we click here, so like for now, we click here. Oh, no, we're going to view that. SQL server, we pin it back. There you go. Once you pin it properly back, it'll go like that. We'll click on this here. We click here, it goes off. And I'm going to show you some cool stuff. So with this being said, let's go over here. Let's go over here. And we're going to do this for each. So we tab. It gives everything we kind of like need. Control X right here. Control V right there. And this is going to be called a view bag, which we will be adding all recipes. That's the name of it, how we're going to call it. Now, a lot of people make mistakes, okay? And the thing is, like, we're going to be cool with this, but right now it doesn't know what this is, so let's not do anything in there. But I really do like to do that. And then in here, I'm going to control Alt, so we could have it in every single one. Already add item. That's what I want to put for now. Let's save that. And then maybe a dot for them all too. And let's just save that right now because they're all going to need a dot. And this view bag is basically saying, yo, show me my stuff, son. And the chef name of the person, we're going to get it from the recipe controller in the index. So what we do inside the index of this one is we got to get something from the database. So let's go view bag. Dot all recipes, right? That's what we call it, recipes like that. That's, you know what, to make our life easier, let's double click here, Control C. And right now we don't need that header partial. Let's get that out the way. We kind of don't need the dashboard at this time, unless we want to say a tag, and we over here gonna put a ASP controller. Sounds right. Which one is it? Is the chef controller? Yeah, it's underneath chef. So it's going to be in the chef. And then ASP action is going to be, even though we're in the dashboard. Dashboard's in the chef, and we don't really need the controller. I like to leave it like that. And we're gonna go view recipes. So I made a mistake. It's not chef, it's recipe. We're gonna do use now, and we're gonna just go to the index of that, and that will show us all our stuff. Reason I want to make this link here so I don't forget to make it later and mess up everything or make it more difficult. So for right now, this is what all these things are at. And honestly, let's go put what we gotta put here. We're gonna put recipe name, right? That's what we're gonna have to put. We don't have to put an at model thing here. We're gonna put the how do we have it in our models for the recipe? So in our recipe model, we have the guy called recipe maker. So let's control C that. Let's get out of there. And let's put that here, and it's probably gonna be that first name. And we're gonna do this a different way for that, but for now we're gonna do that. And then what we need, ingredients. And then over here we are going to need directions to go home. Now this is what should work, and what I'm gonna do, well, for now we don't need to do nothing. We'll figure out if there's anything wrong with this. So in here, a lot of people think that when you do this recipe and you get the database context stuff right here, right, and you put recipes, right, that you need to add some other stuff in there. Well, you kind of do, but not what you think you do. So you want to put the include, and then you press dot, the entity framework. So this came back into play. And then what we're going to include is the recipe maker. So let's just do that, and recipe maker dot recipe maker right there. And that's all we need for that, and a semicolon. Now a lot of people put toString. All right, they use that toString thing right here. The problem with this right here is that you don't want to make this a string, or you're gonna get an error. So let's go make that error. But first, let's actually go start making recipes. We need a couple things, right? We need the HTTP get and HTTP post, right? So let's do that right there. Let's do the post too. HTTP post. Well, what's the first one you're gonna get? We're gonna put. This is gonna put iAction results. No, we gotta put public, right? iAction results. And this is gonna be add recipe. And you know what this is basically gonna be exactly like? So we could probably go copy some of the stuff from it. It's gonna be exactly like the chef register one. So let's come over here and let's just put this in back pocket real quick. All right, Control C that. And that's gonna happen when we actually make this recipe thing right here. So let's add a view, raise a view, add recipes what we want. We're not worrying about the models. You know, sometimes we get a lot of errors doing stuff like that. So let's not get out those errors. Let's do one better. Oh. Okay, so what's happening here is that something is wrong. Oh yeah, I didn't finish making this. Let's just do this right here. This is what's wrong. iAction result. And we're going to put create dish, right? Because after we do all those recipes and put all the ingredients and do it right, it's a dish now. And here, of course, we want the recipe. Is that just the model recipe model? So like that. Or we could try to do that, see if that happens. Yep, that models. So in here, we want to create recipe, and we call it a dish in lowercase. Nope, I said dish. I don't know why you're not. Why this thing try to play me, man? You know, I said dish. It's like, oh, dude, the dish. And I'm just going to put return view here. So we could do this right here. Because this is a post. It's not going to return a view. So guess what? This should work now, I hope. And then we'll double click and do that. And we'll do the forms in a second. No, I'm just messing. All right, so remember when we pasted this right here and here? Guess what? We need to change the model to at model and the recipe one, right? So the recipe model is what we want. It has no first name. We need three things. They say 1, 2, and 3. So the rest of this is going bye-bye. And this submit is add dish. So let's put add dish instead. Because we're creating a dish. Oh, we could call it recipe because they, you know, but once it's created, it's going to be a dish. So what's going on here? No, that's not a recipe. So let's go recipe. Nope. Name. Control C. Control DV. And then ingredients, right? This is everything we actually need. Control DV. Because everything else kind of creates itself. And directions. Right? So C. Then we'll click Control DV. Okay, well that's that. The only problem is that this is a recipe. And we're gonna call it, what do we call it in the controller? Create dish, Control C, add a recipe. That's done. But we're not done. But this is done. Bam. So now that we have this dish coming in here, we obviously wanna, well, what's the first thing that's gonna happen if it's not right? We wanna return to add recipe. That is the action that's happening here. If we wanted to return this to like somewhere in the home controller or something like that, we would put a comma afterwards if this was in the home controller and just do home like that. But since we're not gonna do that. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, and then we're gonna just do that right there, and there's probably gonna be an if in here too. Maybe, I don't know. Model dot. I love how it just takes over what I want. If this is valid, you want to do some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Well, what do we want to check? Well, the dish should be good. If the model state is good, what other if statements would we need? I honestly, and I'm thinking of it at the time, but we might need another if statement. Well, here we go. We're going to have to figure out. We're going to have to add this guy with some stuff. If everything works out, let's do the return. We want to return the redirect to action. We know that for sure. How do you not know? Oh, because I spelled redirect wrong too, right? There you go. And where do we want this to go? You got it. Index. Because index is going to show all our recipes. But there's some things we got to do before we go in there. Okay? We got to go and do some things. So, the person creating it has to be the person logged in. One of the things we wanted to find out is, well, dish dot recipe maker, right? Is got to eat. So let's just do this, right? User in database. Just do a round. We gotta do a round before it. User in DB gets. What's it gonna get? DB context dot chef dot first default. Are we gonna make sure this is right? So we got okay. HTTP. Oh, hold on, we can't do that first. We gotta get user, and then user dot let me see, ID, chef ID equals HTTP context dot session dot get int 32. Let's see if it could open the. Yeah, that works. So it changed it for me, and we messed that up with an extra thing like that. Here we go. Yeah, I know there's an issue, but there's also an issue here. It doesn't know what that is, so let's bring that in. No, I put get int 32. Control save. So that's right. So what's going on in here is trying to figure out what it's gonna get. So that changed it. You saw that? And what this will do for us now is going to get what we set in our chef models. So we go in here in our chef controller with our context name, you know, that this right here. So we're gonna call it chef ID. You know, I'm gonna change it everywhere and just call it ID, because obviously it has to match the chef ID. So let's change it there. Let's change it here. Control V. Those are the only two places I changed it. It's not gonna change much. It's just gonna say ID versus that. And then here is already there. So Okay, so the what we have to put for recipe maker, we can't make it. The reason I did all this is because we need to put the whole user in there, because a recipe maker is a whole user, but we have to match the user to the person that's actually logged in. And see how that made it life a little bit easier. Now this is gonna get user and database, and that's it. That's that person. So now that the dish recipe maker is that, we could go ahead and start adding it to the what they call it, to the recipes now. You know, DB content recipe that add, and then guess what we're gonna add? The dish, and then that. And what happens after we add something? Usually we have to save changes. So every time we do that, you got to save the changes, and then we're gonna redirect to action. So let's make some comments here. Finding the person that is logged in. Why is this important? Because that's a person that you need to be the recipe maker himself. Okay? Once we find that person, we're gonna make the dish the person that makes a dish. Oh, no, let's go like the chef that makes the dish is a whole person. See what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, a recipe maker, chef creator, whatever, a dish creator, a recipe maker is the person logged in. Hopefully that makes sense to somebody. Now we actually have to add and save to the database. You know, because like when you typing right now, you don't press Control S and you try to get out of here. Actually, if you want to save, well, that's kind of similar like adding this over here to the database itself. And let me explain this one time. I think I got it down packed once, but it always gets confusing trying to explain this. So I'm gonna try to explain it every time I do a video and I have to use one. So this is this is an instance of a DB context. So it's a blank instance. It's saying I know what I want to put in here, but where do I want to get it from? So you want to get it a context from the chef context that you created an instance of, and then so whatever is in this context is not going to go into this instance of the context. It's not actually part of that database. It only allows to use the information to put stuff into the database. But how do you know what stuff to use? Because it's just initiating something, and I want to use the chef context from the context in the database itself from here. Very confusing. The more you go over it, the more. So I know when I add this and we try to go to the main index, you're gonna see all that. So my view for add recipe is all set, and my controller looks like it's kind of like all set because there shouldn't be much we have to do if statements. If everything's valid, bam. If it's not valid, we already have validations for it on it when we did the models, right? When we did those models over here. So I'll show you the validation, and let's see. We got to require three things. Everything else is already updated for us. All right. So let's play along, and I'll show you why this was gonna mess up. If we can get here, let's log in and register. Let's go to Mr. Hay, log in. That's good. Your recipes. Yeah. So it doesn't really know what this is yet, for real. And this is the problem. I remember I kept saying the char. Well, the char means character, and I was wondering. I got this thing wrong when I was doing the same project called users that I was just trying to do so I could get errors and then understand errors. So I don't be hours and hours trying to explain them when I'm trying to do a 30-minute video. And what this is saying is that it's a string now, so it's one character at a time. What are you talking about? There's no binder for string. Item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. So that's the issue with that. That's what I wanted to show. So when we go to index right here, we want to take the toString out, and that should work. Let's find out though before we go crazy. Now you probably won't see anything because there's nothing in the database. Pero tú sabes, login or register, you're gonna log in. And now we need review recipes. We see that at least, right? That looks beautiful. Oh, there's one more thing I'm gonna do to that too. So let me get to the add recipe real quick. Where is it? Recipe, add recipe. Only thing I'm gonna do is to the it's in the index. What I'm talking about. To the table is put. No, not there. Is put table hover, and that just like what this is gonna do is like every. But we'll find out. Let's just finish. Let's try to add a recipe now. Okay. Okay, let's do this. So what I'm gonna do is like put a ternary operator. So if you're already logged in, like if there's something in there, if that's valid, then it's not gonna say log in or register. It's just gonna say log out. And if it's nobody's in there, it's gonna say log in. So that'd be cool, right? So we're gonna come in here. Let's see if this works. I just put a H2 add recipe, and I didn't put anything inside here. But let's see if this works now. Sometimes it don't work, so let's fix that real quick. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. I put add recipe, and once again I didn't forget it doesn't have anything to add. So ASP controller, like I said, we don't need to have a controller because we all know it's the recipe one. And then the action is ASP.action, right? And what is the action here? It's very simple. We want it to be the index. Right? We in the index, so no, it's add recipe, okay. Your guys' mistake, not mine. So we're gonna add the recipe. Let's make sure we wrote that correct. I like to do this sometimes and just Control V and then save it again. Let's go again and see why that didn't work. Hopefully everything else works now. Bada boom, bada bing, you know what I mean? We're gonna log in or register. Hey, log in. View recipes. There's no recipes to view. Let's add a recipe. We call out meatballs, hamburger meat. I just put it in the oven because it's in the box. Let's see if this worked. So all this worked fine, except you know what? Okay, this is an easy fix. This is just our thing right here. We got the recipe name dot recipe name. Let's see, 1 2. All right, let's look on the bottom. See, in the bottom here, this is supposed to be TD, table data, not table header. So it didn't realize what had happened here. It's like I don't know what to do. So let's save that and press play, and then let's log in with mine. Let's log in with the pound thing. Let's see. Hey, let's log with that. The reason I did this on purpose, so I could show you something. View recipes. Not every. Whoa. What happened here? This is supposed to be Al's Meatballs. Let's be named. Recipe maker. The maker. Maybe I didn't put anything in between there. Oh no, chef name supposed to be here. Ingredients. These are all simple fix. Let's just add a recipe anyway. We're gonna call it pizza, tomato. Oh no. We don't want that. We want maybe we don't want pizza either. Let's do let's call it Chris Burger. There you go. Oh, hold on. What? And then we mayonnaise and hamburger meat. There you go. Did I even hit that? There you go. So here it is. Everything's working fine, except the directions need to be over here, and this needs to be here, and the ingredients here. What did I do wrong? Let's figure that out real quick, and then I'll show you something else real cool. We got TH, no /TH. See how simple that is? These simple mistakes. Before I even go back and show you how we fix it, look at this right here. Now we could go to DB Chefs. We could go to view the data in here. We click here. It has 2 people once again. Okay, let's go back over there to the recipes. Let's view the data. This is what I wanted to show you. So look at this. The recipe ID, and this is the recipe maker chef ID. Do you see what happened here? 2 1. This guy made the first recipe, so all the recipe IDs are gonna go in order like that now. But Oh, I'm gonna cover my face. All the recipes are gonna go in order now, but what's gonna happen is the ID for the maker is gonna always be 2121, unless we have a third person. We create, the more, the more, the more. So now everything is done properly. So the next video we will go into the we don't need this no more, and we don't need that one no more. And next video we will go in. Let's make sure we fix this before we leave this video because we're in 30 minutes now. The next video we go into just show one thing right here, which a lot of people tend to do. And let's view the recipes, and that looks like it's in order. And there you go. Now we're gonna put some more instructions here on one of them. So let's just add a recipe. We call it pizza, and then we'll put that, and then we'll put in the oven, and then we're just gonna put that's how you have to type. A lot of stuff there. So now you can see how it moved over because this has more writing, and we don't need the tabs on the right hand side. There's a way you could do that too, like put the borders in there. We don't need to put the borders in there. We could actually make border radius rounded and make it a rounded stuff that looks stupid for a table. So that's it for this video, and then we're gonna go into the add one.